Welcome back, scholars. Today we'll be diving into episode 6 of our biology JAMB series, tackling question 100 to 120 with smart explanation that will make you score over 90 in your JAMB biology exam. So we start from question 101 to question 120. We've done question 81 to 100 in episode 5, which is the last episode. So let's dive in. Question 101. Dash is the largest organ of the body. A. Skin. B. Liver. C. Kidney. D. Large intestine. So let's start from large intestine. What's large intestine? Large intestine absorbs water from waste. That's what it does. What of kidney? Kidney remove waste through urine. So kidney is also wrong. Kidney remove waste from urine. Large intestine and kidney is wrong. They are not the largest organ of the body. While liver filters and detoxify blood. I'm explaining all these options so you can understand the terminology. Why liver is not the largest organ of the body is the skin. The skin covers and protects the body, and skin is all over our body. There's nowhere you cannot find the skin from your head to your toe. So let's continue. Question 102. The pigment which gives color to the skin is dash. A. Chlorophyll. B. Chromatophore. C. Melanin. D. Keratin. So let's start from keratin. Keratin, what it does is that it strengthens hair and nail. It's also a pigment which strengthens hair and nail, not the skin. So keratin is wrong. For melanin, melanin is the correct answer. Melanin is the pigment which gives color to the skin. It's the pigment which gives color to the skin. So melanin is the correct. So the correct answer is the melanin. While chromatophore is found in animals like fish. You can find it in fish. It's also a pigment. While chlorophyll is also a pigment found in plants. We all know what chlorophyll is found in plant, not humans. So guys, let's continue. Question 103. Which layer provides food for the eye? Which layer provides food for the eye? A. Retina. B. Sclerae. C. Choroid layer. D. Conjunctiva. So let's start from conjunctiva. What's conjunctiva? Conjunctiva, it covers the front of the eye. Down front of the eye, that thing that covers your eye, that is the conjunctiva. While choroid layer supplies food and oxygen to the eye. So the correct answer is choroid layer. It is the choroid layer that provides food for the eye and oxygen. While sclerae is the white outer layer found in your eye. I know you can identify that white layer. The white layer in your eye, that white layer is the sclerae. While retina receives light. So the correct answer for question 103 is choroid layer. It provides food for the eye. Let's continue. Question 104. Dash is the process of giving birth. Dash is the process of giving birth. A. Gestation. B. Parturition. C. Fertilization. D. Implantation. So let's start from option D. Implantation. Implantation is the attachment of zygote to the uterus. So implantation is wrong. It is not the process of giving birth. While fertilization is not also the process of giving birth. I know some people will pick fertilization, but fertilization is wrong. Fertilization is the union of sperm and egg cell to produce zygote. While parturition is the correct answer. Parturition is the actual delivery of the baby, and it's also the process of giving birth. Parturition is the process of giving birth. While gestation is the period where a lady carries pregnancy for 9 months. That period of when a woman carries pregnancy for 9 months, the process is called gestation. So guys, let's continue. Question 105. The reproductive structure of flowering plant is called dash. The reproductive structure of flowering plant is called dash. For those that have reached their reproduction in flower, they should be able to answer this question 105 correctly. A. Ovule, B. Ovary, C. Flower, D. Pistil. So what's the reproductive structure of the flowering plant? Let's start from pistil. So pistil is the reproductive structure of the flowering plant. It's the female reproductive structure of the flowering plant. Pistil is the correct answer. While flower, we all know what flower is. Flower consists of male and female part. While ovary contains ovule. Ovary is ripened fruit, while ovule is a seed. So that's that for question 105. Let's continue. Question 106. The attachment of zygote to the wall of uterus is called dash. A. Clumping, B. Implantation, C. Gestation, D. Festation. So let's start from festation. In biological term, there's nothing like festation. Festation is wrong. JAMB always plan this kind of option to confuse the student. While gestation is the pregnancy period, I discussed that earlier, where woman carry pregnancy for 9 months. That process is gestation, which is not related to the attachment of zygote. Gestation is also wrong. So the correct answer is option B, which is implantation. So the attachment of zygote to the wall of uterus is called implantation. So let me explain clumping to you guys. Clumping is also wrong. Clumping is the process in which red blood cells come together, in which they attach together to form antigens or antibody. Antigens or antibody. So guys, let's continue. Question 107. A ripened and fertilized ovary is called dash. A ripened and fertilized ovary is called dash. A. Fruit, B. Ovule, C. Flower, D. Seed. I discussed what ovary is the other time. Ovary is when fruit is ripened. So fruit is the correct answer. Fruit is the correct answer. Fruit comes from ovary after fertilization, while ovule comes from seed. So unripened fruit is ovule, while ripened fruit is ovary. So explaining that can give you better understanding in order to differentiate between ovary and ovule. So guys, let's continue. Question 108. The first person to discover microbes is dash. A. Jean Lacwes, B. Louis Pasteur, C. Anthony Leeuwenhoek, D. Rockwichoff. So let's start from Rockwichoff. Rockwichoff also contributed to cell theory. He discussed what he stated on cell theory is that he said all cells come from cell. That's what Rockwichoff said about cell theory. So the first man to discover microbe is Anthony Leeuwenhoek. If I don't pronounce it well, sorry guys. So the first person to discover microbe is Anthony Leeuwenhoek. So that's the correct answer. Let's continue. Question 109. Bacteria with rod shape are called dash. Guys, I want you to note this question 109. JAMB always ask every year. When I even wrote my JAMB, they asked me this question, and guess what? I answered it correctly. So bacteria with rod shape are called dash. I want you guys to be attentive. A. Bacilli, C. Cocci, C. Staphylococci, D. Streptococci. Let's start from Streptococci. Streptococci is chain of cocci. It is not the bacteria with the rod shape, so Streptococci is wrong. And Staphylococci is also cluster of cocci. So cluster of cocci is Staphylococci, while chain of cocci is Streptococci. For cocci is round in shape. So it's also wrong. Why the correct answer is bacilli. Bacilli is the bacteria with raw shape. So the bacteria with raw shape are called bacilli, while the bacteria with round shape are called cocci. So the examiner can also ask that the bacteria with cluster of cocci are called what? Are called staphylococci, and the bacteria with chain of cocci are called streptococci. So let's continue. Question 110. The process of splitting water molecule by light energy is called dash. The process of splitting water molecule by light energy is called dash. A, photosynthesis. B, photogenic. C, photolysis. D, photolite. So photolite is wrong. There is nothing like photolite in biological term. So photolysis is the correct answer. Is the splitting of water using light. So the process of splitting water molecule by light energy is called photolysis. Photogenic is to be naturally able to take pictures, to be good in taking pictures. That photogenic, we all know that. And photosynthesis, we all know what photosynthesis is. For those that don't know, photosynthesis is the making of food in the presence of sunlight. In the presence of sunlight. So guys, let's continue. Question 111. The smallest unit of classification is the dash. A, species. B, genus. C, class. D, phylum. So what's the first thing you should do when answering this kind of question is to list out the unit of the classification. We start from kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So kingdom, we have 7 units of classification. We start from kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So I use this short acronym. You can screenshot it. So once they ask us to, in the question they ask us to identify the smallest unit of classification. So we start from species. So according to the option here, species is the smallest unit of classification. Assuming species is not in the option, we'll continue to check from here. So assuming species is not in the option, we'll go for genus. I hope you understand now. And assuming genus is not in the option, we'll go for the next one that is closer here, which is the class, before we reach phylum, before we now reach kingdom. So if they now say that the highest unit of classification, we'll go for kingdom. I hope you understand now. So let's continue. Question 112. Prokaryotic cells are found in dash. A, algae. B, monerans. C, tracheophyte. D, spirogyra. So let's start from spirogyra. Spirogyra is eukaryotic. Tracheophyte is also eukaryotic. We are looking for the ones that are prokaryotic. Spirogyra is eukaryotic. Tracheophyte is also eukaryotic. While monerans is prokaryotic. Algae too is also eukaryotic. So the correct answer is monerans. Prokaryotic cells are found in monerans, which are also bacteria. So we can say monerans are bacteria because prokaryotic cells are found in bacteria. Question 113. Mycelium is a characteristic feature of dash. A, hydra. B, yeast. C, mold. C, bacteria. D, molds. So let's start from mold. Mold is a multicellular fungi with mycelium, which makes option D the correct answer. While bacteria have no mycelium, yeast is also a fungi but unicellular. So the difference between yeast and molds, they are all fungi. These two are fungi, but yeast is unicellular while molds is multicellular. Note that. So it won't confuse you when attempting your exam if you've seen this kind of question. So yeast does not possess mycelium, and hydra also does not possess mycelium. So if you haven't subscribed to this moment, I will urge you to subscribe to Learn with Israel YouTube channel. So once I drop the new episode, you will be the first person to watch the video. So let's continue. Question 114. This is also a tricky question, but it's very easy. It's very easy. I know you should know the answer by now. Choose the food that is rich in proteins. These are past questions. Choose the food that is rich in proteins. A. Bread. B. Beef. C. Palm oil. D. Garri. So let's start from Garri. Garri is mainly carbohydrates. Garri is this C represent carbohydrate. Garri is mainly carbohydrate, while palm oil is rich in fat. So we are looking for the one that is protein in the option. While beef is rich in protein, I know many of you know that. So the one that is rich in protein is beef. So when answering this kind of question, try to eliminate the option. That's what helped me when I'm writing my JAMB, which make me to score very high. It makes me score very high. Elimination really helped me. Even if you don't know the question, you don't understand the question, firstly eliminate. So we all know that garri is carbohydrate, palm oil fat, beef protein. Let's check for bread. Bread is carbohydrate, but not mainly carbohydrate, but half you can say bread is carbohydrate. So the correct answer is beef. Let's continue. Question 115. When is the best time to test for the presence of starch in a leaf? When is the best time to test for the presence of starch in a leaf? A. Before sunrise. B. Immediately after sunrise. C. At midday. D. Immediately after sunset. It might be confusing, but let's eliminate. Let's start from option D, which is immediately after sunrise. Immediately after sunset, most of the starch will have been used up. So immediately after sunset is not the best time to test for starch. At midday, for the photosynthesis will be in progress, which is also not suitable to test for starch at that time or during that time. So immediately after sunrise, it's also wrong. That time the photosynthesis just started. So the best time to test for starch in leaf is when the photosynthesis have not started yet, which is before sunrise. So if they ask you when is the best time to test for the presence of starch in a leaf, the correct answer is before sunrise. So let's continue. Question 116. Food spoilage is mainly due to dash. A. Poor quality. B. Pest. C. Activity of decomposers. D. High protein content. I know many of you be like, pest is the correct answer. Pest is wrong. Pest is not the correct answer. So let's start from option D as usual. High protein content. High protein content is just a condition, not the cause of food spoilage. So high protein content is wrong. Activity of decomposers is the correct answer because the decomposer break down food, which can lead to food spoilage, which is mainly cause of this food spoilage, is the cause of this food spoilage. While pest is also wrong. Pest can destroy, but it's not the major cause of the food spoilage. While poor quality does not have anything to do with this. It can only affect the taste, but it's not the main cause for this food spoilage. So the correct answer is activity of decomposer. So the food spoilage is mainly due to activity of decomposers. Let's continue. Question 117 is very tricky. I want you guys to be attentive. Which of these explains a community? A group of organisms found in several habitats. B. A group of population found in several habitats. C. A group of many population of different species. D. A group of population of the same species living in the same habitat. If you don't get me with the way I'm reading the option, you can fast backward the video and rewatch it, or you can download it and watch it later for better understanding, because this option is confusing. That's why it's very good to read option well before picking the answer. So let's start from option D. A group of population of the same species living in the same habitat does not describe the community, which is wrong. So option D is wrong. While option C, a group of many population of different species, is also wrong. Yeah, is correct. So what explains a community is the group of many population of different species, not the same, because it's a community, different species. While a group of population found in several habitats is wrong scope, very wrong. Also option A group of organisms found in several habitats is too, I would say, is too general. The correct answer is a group of many population of different species. They can also twist the question, so note the definition now so that you will be able to answer it correctly when you meet this kind of question. So let's continue. Question 118. A food chain always begin with a dash. I know you guys should be able to answer this one correctly. A. Decomposer. B. Saprophyte. C. Producers. D. Consumers. So let's start from option D for the elimination. Consumers feed on other organisms, so it cannot start the food chain. I hope you get it now. Producer can start the food chain because they make their own food by themselves, which is the plant like phytoplankton. If you don't know, you need to go and search it on your ChatGPT. Phytoplankton, spirogyra. I know you guys must be familiar with spirogyra. So those are the producers that start the food chain. And for saprophyte is decomposer. Saprophyte is a decomposer. So a decomposer can never start a food chain. Why decomposer is also saprophyte. So option A and option B is the same thing. That's why it's very good to eliminate. You know, when at the process of eliminating it, you see, it's also the same. Saprophyte is decomposer and decomposer is also saprophyte. So it's wrong. The correct answer is producer. A food chain always begin with producer. And what end a food chain? A food chain always end with what? Decomposers. You guys should note that. Question 119. Generally, food chains are short because of dash. I will draw a diagram to explain this for better understanding. Food chain are short because of dash. A. Energy losses at each tropic level. B. The activity of decomposers. C. The lack of consumers. D. Nutrient cycling. So let's start from nutrient cycling. Nutrient cycling does not relate to chain length, does not relate, maybe the food chain is short or long, does not have anything to do with that. The lack of the consumer is not true. Food chain cannot be short because of lack of consumer. There are a lot of consumer there. So let me draw it for you guys, because we have already treated questions that is start with producer. So let's start now. I will not start with spirogyra, I will start with grass. Grass is also a producer. So I'm drawing the food chain now. From grass, it will go to what? Grasshopper. From grasshopper to what? To frog. From grasshopper to frog. And from frog to snake. From frog. So these are producer. All these that you are seeing are consumer. We have primary, secondary, tertiary. So the tertiary consumer is the hawk. So the hawk will later be eaten by the decomposer. I hope that explained question 118 well now. It starts from grass to grasshopper to frog to snake to hawk and to decomposer. It starts with producer and it ends with decomposer. You now see it now. I hope this gives you a better understanding. So back to the question. So option A is the correct answer. Food chain are short because of energy losses at each tropic level. So from grass to grasshopper, the percentage of the energy losses is 10%. I know many educational creators won't tell you this, but the percentage loss from grass to grasshopper 10%, from grasshopper to frog 10%. So that's the reason for the shortness of the food chain. I hope you understand well now. And if you want more understanding on food chain, you can drop it in the comment so I can make a video on food chain. Let's continue. Question 120. A constituent of the exhaust gases of motor vehicle which causes serious air pollution is dash. A. Water vapor. B. Oxygen. C. Carbon dioxide. D. Carbon monoxide. This question they asked me in my JAMB exam, and you guess what? I got it correctly. So let's start from option D. Option D is the correct answer. It is the constituent of exhaust gases of motor vehicle which causes serious air pollution, and inhaling it can damage your internal system and nervous system. While carbon dioxide causes global warming, but it is not that harmful. While water vapor is not also harmful, and we all know oxygen is also a gas. So the most harmful substance here is carbon monoxide, and it's also the constituent that come out, that whitish thing that come out from a car when it is on motion. That whitish thing is the carbon monoxide, for those that don't know it. So we've come to the end of this video. If it has been helpful, don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to Learn with Israel YouTube channel. And if you have any question to ask, drop it in the comment section and I'll make sure to reply. See you in my next episode, which is episode 7. Keep studying and keep learning to crash your JAMB biology exam. See you in my next video.